What it do, YouTube? It's your boy Tony Vogue, E-Boy, and Zombie Slayer. You're here on my B channel. It's been a long time since we've reacted to something spooky, unsettling, incomprehensible, or disturbing. That's kind of the reaction we generally tend to cover unless they're music reactions. Well, tonight, playa, we getting stoned. And I'm gonna react to Incomprehensible, Unexplainable Things Iceberg, Part 1. Now, tomorrow, the CDL season begins, Call of Duty League. And all you stud muffin gaming athletes on that Call of Duty Warzone know, no weed during the daytime. So, in the evenings, I'm gonna continue on with the segment and bring y'all reactions while we get trippy. Alright, buckle your seatbelts. We going in. Incomprehensible, Unexplainable Iceberg, Part 1. And we are puffing on that PC Purple Kush. Woo! I mean, I really gotta think out the background back here. But that's BC Purp Kush. It's actually beautiful, beautiful. It smells citrusy. Honestly, I always say if weed smell like dirt and grapefruit, that's the shit I want to smoke. Well, does that BC Purp Kush smell like dirt and grapefruit? Alright, enough talk. If you're still with us, yo, smash subscribe, hit like, dim the likes. Let's watch this shit. And I'm gonna provide y'all with my reactions and commentary.
Hello. There are a lot of things
Get a
humans
load
are
of this
smart
guy.
enough to understand. But yet, there are some that we just simply can't, or maybe shouldn't. To think that human beings as a race have evolved from cavemen and hunter-gatherer societies to exploring the cosmos and beyond. It's a wonder as to what the true limits of human potential are. With every decade and...
Y'all seen Limitless? That was a sick movie, bro. I need to watch Limitless again. Pop below in the comments what y'all think of Limitless. Sheesh.
Nowadays, every passing day it seems, it's as though we are destined to continuously gain knowledge and skills that our forefathers could only dream of. And yet there are still things that escape our needy grasp and hunger for understanding, and they just might possibly be for the rest of time. So, because I'm worried that this video might be very long, and also because I know that you didn't come here to listen to an intro, let's jump right into the incomprehensible slash
But this guy,
unexplainable
he
subjects
kept it
iceberg.
100, man. He kept us on topic.
Is, let me
I
explain.
was listening. I was
and also
engaged.
show the methods I will be using for this said iceberg video. Iceberg images, such as this one, are images showing the many levels and depths.
Bumbarasta, we know what an iceberg is. Otherwise, go somewhere else for an explanation.
And while I will be adhering to the basics of a unit or phenomenon that people can use, hardest or somewhat impossible to comprehend towards, I think, a
Blah, blah, blah.
in the year of our Lord 2023. I will explain to the best of my ability what all of these topics of discussion are and why my brain hurts so much.
Okay, so this is the Incomprehensible, Unexplainable Iceberg, Part 1. Vato go and explain it. Hey, man. Can't knock a guy with goals. Sheesh.
I am not a scientist, I am not a physicist, I do not have a degree in any of the topics covered in this video. That is a warning. And I do not plan on it after trying to summarize these things that humans can't comprehend. One last thing, a lot of these topics aren't inherently bad, negative, or sad exactly, but some of them do deal with topics of discussion that may or not line up with one's belief system, especially towards the bottom of the iceberg. Got it? Good. So without further ado, here is the incomprehensible slash unexplainable subjects iceberg. This is going to be a long video, and this is only the first part. Stay tuned till the very end, and I'll give you some more information.
And that goes double for us, man.
Until then, though, just enjoy. Above the iceberg. Pigeon homing. Pigeons that are specifically trained and raised to be homing pigeons have an otherworldly ability to find their way back to their base. If you were to take a bred homing pigeon and set its base somewhere in England and take it to Germany, let's say, there's a high chance that the pigeon will be able to make its way back perfectly fine to the base in
What the
England.
bomba
And
class?
these birds aren't slow either. With an average speed of over 60 miles per hour, homing pigeons are specifically trained and bred birds with an uncanny ability to find their way back home. even if it's not on purpose. There's a story of a homing pigeon being bought and shipped to Sri Lanka, only for it to be released and to fly back to its home in Germany. Allegedly, the longest ever journey of a homing pigeon is of it being released in Arras, France, and it was able to make it all the way to Saigon, Vietnam in 1931. That's 7,200 miles in 24 days, by the way. But we know these birds are great at their job, and without going into it, why there are such a high amount of them in
That's
all over the
crazy,
city,
man.
It was their job to get home. But how do these birds work? Of course, they have to be bred and trained to return home by ensuring
Bred
the birds
and
have
trained.
incentive to return to their home base with food or some other offering. But aside from taking them further and further distances from a young age, we can't nail down how they're able to make these incredible treks across the lands. There are three main theories as to the navigation of these birds. True.
Damn, I can't think of any, man, except like them detecting like magnetosphere, the magnetosphere, electromagnetism, some shit like that, man.
Navigation, magnetic orientation,
Hey.
and olfactory navigation. But none of these seem to nail down how homing pigeons really work. True navigation is the ability to see and use familiar areas like landmarks and roads when flying, and use that information to guide themselves back home. But this doesn't explain how homing pigeons are able to find their way home over large distances, especially over areas where they haven't flown or been to before. Next is magnetic orientation, which is the ability to use Earth's magnetic field to find their way home like a compass. Some scientists have even gone so far as to say that homing pigeons have iron particles in their beak to allow them to remain aligned with the north.
Interesting.
Again, a problem arises though with this method, as a compass is no good without a map in human.
Man, you don't want to get pecked by those, like, shit. One of my fears as a kid was getting pecked by birds, man. It's a weird ass fear. Y'all got any childhood fears? Yeah, pecked to death by birds. Just told all of YouTube.
Birds can't use maps. It's pretty simple. If these birds had a sense of north and no way of indicating which direction from north they should fly to return home, the compass is essentially useless. And finally, olfactory navigation. Olfactory navigation is using the sense of smell to hone in back to their path back home. With some scientists believing that this allows the birds the ability to orient themselves by learning the rough composition of atmospheric odors and their spatial disposition compared to winds that come from different directions to navigate. Do I know what that means? No.
Nah,
I don't.
nobody knows what that
But
means,
that's the best that scientists
but it's provocative. It gets the people going. Smash subscribe.
have been able to come up with for these birds. Most believe that homing pigeons must use a mix of all of these to be able to get to their home base without an issue. But right now, scientists are still doing the introductory phases and steps in learning how these marvelous birds work and operate. And maybe soon, we'll be able to get our answer about these birds. Spontaneous combustion. Spontaneous combustion
That's
is the
that
outbreak
shit
of
I
fire
don't
without application
like.
of heat from an outside source.
Yo, he's a fire movie, man. Val Kilmer, Robert De Niro, got Al Pacino. Shit. If you up in Canada, it's free on Crave if you have Rogers. Pop. Yeah, boy.
Most people have heard about the human variety of this phenomena, and while that's the wildest form and the most assessed form online of spontaneous combustion, there are quite a few other ways.
Did he say most
spontaneous
assessed or most
Lots of
sus?
things you might hope wouldn't catch fire in large quantities
pretty
can be
sus.
affected by spontaneous combustion. Cotton, coal, hay, and pistachios, to name a few. Hay and compost can self-ignite because of bacterial fermentation, which causes oxidation, which in turn causes them to self-ignite. Pretty self-explanatory. Cotton can begin to combust at around 764 degrees Fahrenheit if the cotton degrades enough on a microbiological level. That's a word I didn't think I would have to ever say. Usually, this means the amount of cotton needs to be extremely high and contaminated by something like a paint, a varnish, or linseed oil like it was back in the day. If these conditions are met and there's a high enough quantity of cotton, the slow buildup of heat from self-heating to smoldering to open flame begins, thus leading to spontaneous combustion.
Damn.
Coal can spontaneously
Cotton just catches
self-heat and
fire, bruh.
self-ignite when a few conditions are met. The Titanic's coal was on fire. I just have to throw this out there. The Titanic's coal was on fire, quote, from the day they put out of Southampton until it hit the iceberg. That's how common it is. It's pretty common and scientists are still hammering out the details, but they've got it pretty much nailed down. Now here's the wild one. I just want to say this right now. Pistachios can spontaneously explode. Sorry, jumped over spontaneously combust there, but I thought I should just go straight to explode because if that's on the table, that's where we're going to go. And while yes, exploding and combusting is crazy, these nuts take in so much oxygen.
They explode.
Take in so much oxygen even when picked
These
that if you were in
nuts.
an enclosed room with a large enough amount of pistachios, you would suffocate, just as a thought.
God damn it.
But
That
aside
was
from one of
good.
my new irrational fears, pistachios are very known for spontaneously combusting because of their fat content and taking in high amounts of oxygen. If the humidity and pressure is wrong or just right if you're on the side of the pistachios in the pistachio war, the nuts can break down
Pistachio
fat and
war.
continue to take in oxygen while releasing carbon dioxide in a process that's more commonly known as burning or exploding. Yeah, this is one that is very well documented and easily understood on the chemistry level, but I couldn't not include pistachios.
What a trip, man.
The one we're really here for. Spontaneous human combustion is as it sounds. The spontaneous combustion of a human being, alive or recently dead, without an external source of ignition. Most recorded cases of spontaneous human combustion, I will be calling it SHC going forward by the way, involve the affected having alcohol in some way or the other, as well as some parts of the leg or feet remaining intact. Humans have been reported over the last 300 years to have spontaneously combust about 200 times. And while the chances aren't zero, they most certainly aren't enough to be that worried about it. Old theories on the subject relay back to the theory of humors in the body and an imbalance, which causes the affected to spontaneously.
Okay, so don't drink alcohol or you might blow up or catch in flames, man.
Spontaneously combust. Or that the affected partook in alcohol which rendered the body flammable. Neither of these work though, as the first is a long disproven theory in the humoral theory of medicine, and the second wouldn't even be possible if the persons were possibly the most intoxicated a human could be, because it would still require a source of ignition. Most cases of alleged recorded SHC involve people that are older, or in some other form or the other having a limited form of mobility due to age or obesity. While most scientists nowadays think that SHC isn't possible at all and could all be an example of natural causes like someone falling asleep with a lit cigarette, there are a few speculated cases with nothing tacked down quite yet. Brian J. Ford offered up that ketosis could be a possible explanation as people that partake in low-carb diets or suffer from alcoholism allows the body to
Ketosis, man.
produce acetone, which is highly flammable and would lead to a spontaneous human combustion. A leading theory outside of unfortunate circumstances like cigarette sleeping is the wick effect. It's not the movie.
Not John Wick,
A
bro.
small external flame warms the clothing and causes human
Honestly, hot take. Don't unsubscribe, but I didn't really like John Wick, the entire fucking franchise. Wasn't much storage.
fat to melt into the clothing, acting as a reverse candle. Even the most fit of people will still have fat in their body, and like I said before, most cases of SHC involve people that are obese or can't move that much, so a buildup of fat is expected. There are other accounts and theories that I want to go over real quick, such as that SHC is caused by poltergeists and spirits needing a new host and entering or leaving the body, immolating it in the process. Some believe that eating or breathing in phosphorus in some capacity causes phosphine in the body, which is known to spontaneously combust on its own. And
Damn.
lastly, there's the theory that ball lightning is involved. What is ball lightning?
Yeah,
Well,
they
let me
ball
tell
out
you.
with the lightning.
Ball lightning. Ball lightning is the rare phenomenon of a luminous sphere appearing, usually near the ground during thunderstorms, measuring on average several centimeters in diameter. It has
Well,
been
I would hope
associated
it's
with
during
cloud-to-cloud
thunderstorms.
lightning,
Like, if
while
it just
some
show
have
up, like,
associated ball
randomly,
lightning with it is
fuck that.
entirely distinct from St. Elmo's fire. The
St.
very descriptions
Elmo's
and
fire.
characteristics of ball lightning are some of the main reasons why it's hard to characterize or nail down at all, as ball lightning has been observed to be between pea-sized and up to a meter in diameter, as well as it being red, orange, yellow, white, or blue in color, and only lasts on average a few seconds. While ball lightning is usually not damaging or dangerous, it has appeared and shown to occasionally explode violently, or dissipate, leaving behind the smell of burning sulfur or ozone in the area. This is why some people believe that ball lightning is the cause of occasional SHC, as it still has been shown to release heat after expulsion of the energy.
Oh,
Scientists,
shit.
while proposing a number of hypotheses and being close to recreating what they believe to be an instance of ball lightning,
I'm gonna be real with y'all. Now, spontaneous human combustion and ball lightning never been a fear of mine. Being pecked to death, fear of mine. Homing pigeons, scary. So far, everything else, not really. I'm like, what? I'm weird, right?
have had a hard time replicating the data or finding substantial findings to classify ball lightning as its own distinct phenomenon to this day. Of these many theories and explanations, there are about 15 that have various scientific names and use of words that would require their own video or even icebergs to get into. This have ranged from air and gas behaving abnormally, vaporized silicon forming into a gas ball of energy to microwave radiation being trapped within a plasma bubble. If you want a deeper dive
Sheesh,
into
big
ball lightning,
words.
you can go check out Joe Scott. He did an entire video on this topic 3 years ago that helps explain the concept without having roughly 30 other topics to cover in the same video. And speaking of the next topic, Great Sheep Panic. The Great Sheep Panic, or the Great Sheep Panic of 1888, if you like numbers, was an event that took place on November 3rd, 1888 in Oxfordshire, England, that involved tens of thousands of sheep over the course of 200 square miles, reportedly escaping their enclosures, going berserk, destroying property, and causing mayhem. And while yes, sheep are known for being sheepish and scaring easily, this amount of sheep in the tens of thousands at roughly the exact same time, freaking out and panicking to the point that the farmer said
That's
that the sheep
weird,
looked
man. That's a
terror-stricken
trip. That's kind of
and were hiding
scary.
in
Okay, this one's freaky, man.
bushes, hedges, and
Bushes.
crowded corners hasn't been able to be explained.
Get a
Now, some
load of
have
this
tried to
guy,
explain
man.
this away as a case of
Oxfordshire.
ruffians or the uncultured youth scaring up the sheep. But the scale of this event was
Yeah, that's a lot of
unprecedented and way
sheep,
too
bro.
large for it all to have been done by the neighborhood kids. Another explanation was possibly some dog or fox happened to scare the sheep, but that still doesn't explain the fact that the sheep across counties were all scared simultaneously. The leading theory of the time, and most believed theory now, was that the event was caused by thunder and lightning in the area on the night of the Great Sheep Panic.
Well,
This
Bomba
theory
Club.
has its doubters, though, as lightning has pretty much happened everywhere, and has happened plenty of times before and after this, and while there are other cases of sheep panic in the area, none were quite to this level. And lastly, the more out there theories on the Great Sheep Panic were that there was either a meteoric blast or earthquake in the area which would have scared all the sheep. Or, on the night of the Great Sheep Panic, an unidentified large dark cloud touched the ground in the area of Oxfordshire and covered the sheep and people living in the area in such a pitch black darkness that this induced mass hysteria in the sheep. Neither of the latter two theories have had as much scientific backing, as there were no reported meteors or rumblings in the earth by anyone in the area. As well as this dark cloud phenomenon that is described doesn't fit any known type of cloud, or any as of yet known meteorological phenomenon at all. So to this day, there is still no definitive answer, and we truly may never know what the true cause of this Great Sheep Panic was. The tip of the iceberg. ASASSN.
Well, sheesh. We just covered all of above the iceberg. And that's half of part 1. We're gonna call this our reaction, part 1A. Next time, check out this channel. Next time we react to this specific video, we're gonna hit up part B, man. Comment below. What of the above was the most unexplainable to you? I can't believe this guy called everything there unexplainable and then explained it. Sheesh. Your boy Tony Vogue, E-Boy, and Zombie Slayer here. Yo, check out my A channel. Check out my Rumble. Till next time.